はい、千秋です。
はい、ゆみです。
MFTC です。
今日はなんと
初めての2人だけ動画です。
メンバー2人、4人のうち2人欠席。無断欠席。
ポスタービルディングというユークランの大学の一角に来てます。何をするかと言いますと、とある関係筋よりユークランにフェアトレードコミッティ、フェアトレード委員会があるという噂を手に入れまして、なんとこの度そのドンに会えるチャンスをゲットしたわけです。頑張ったうちが早速会いに行ってみようと思います。走っちゃったバイバイ
So I'm David Grime, I'm the Catering Services Manager here at the University of Central Lancashire, and I'm also the Chair of the Fairtrade Group. We focus mainly on Fairtrade Fortnight, which is end of February, sometimes into March. So we try and put all our events or activities around that sort of fortnight, and that'll be things like student presentations, so students can come in and do presentations or show the movies or stuff like that to raise awareness. We sell fair trade products a little bit cheaper over that fortnight and have some offers on to promote people into using fair trade. We normally have an awareness stall that runs for the 2 weeks where we get students and volunteers and staff do that as well, and we get an awful lot of information from Fairtrade who send us the stuff that we promote over that fortnight to just raise awareness. We tend to have a movie night which shows a Fairtrade film that the Fairtrade organisation have created, and then we link with Preston Fairtrade Group as a city, and we promote some of their events and they promote some of ours, and we do a bit of crossover stuff. So the movie night's a good example of where Fairtrade Preston come and use our facilities and bring a lot of externals into the university, you know, to promote those sorts of stuff. That's what we do as a committee, organising that, but obviously during the year we also do a lot of fair trade stuff that we just do as business. So we sell fair trade chocolate and things like that. The Students' Union sell a lot of fair trade clothing, fair trade cotton products and things like that, but also they also do an awful lot in Fair Trade Fortnight, promoting it, and just really we try and raise a lot more awareness in that in those 2 weeks. Okay. So the next one will be next February. We most probably won't do a great deal now in this academic year because we're coming to the end of the academic year really. But what we tend to try and do in Freshers Week is hold a bit of a stall for Fairtrade to see if any students want to get involved in it, and also as part of the committee we try and get students to sit on that committee. So if that was something you're interested in, we don't do that as apply to sit on the committee and we'll vote you in or not. Anybody who wants to come and join the committee, more than welcome to come and join the committee. I'd rather have 40 people in that meeting than 4 or 5 lecturers and people like myself. So the more people who want to get involved in that, the better. When we do our Fairtrade renewal form every 2 years, there is a section in there that asks us to have a student rep in there. So I represent the catering department. We have somebody who represents the university as a whole, and then we always have at least one student rep in there. But that's just one person who signs it. The list of student reps who are members. Every 2 years we submit this and in there I think there's 5 different goals. So each goal you have to put down what we do towards that goal. Some of it's about campaigns, some of it's about lists of products we sell, etc, and members and stuff like that, and meetings. But also every year when we get this back, or every 2 years when we get this back, there is a list of recommendations of what they'd like us to see do next year. So sometimes they'll say you need more events, sometimes it might say your event's fantastic, they're always going to encourage us to do more, but sometimes it might say, so on this return it didn't ask us really to push many more events. What it asked us to really focus on was the products we were selling, and if we could sell more products and introduce more products. So over the last 18 months we've tried to go from some products to even more products and reach further as in our membership and people who are on the committee. I became the chair 3 years ago of this, and definitely in the last 3 years the amount of awareness in the university is, in my opinion, is bigger. It's hard to measure that because without going out and asking students, do you know about Fairtrade, it's hard to measure that. But I think the general population of the university has increased of awareness, but also I think the general population just as a whole, not just students, but in the community, the understanding of Fairtrade's increased an awful lot as well. But I think that's a lot, not necessarily to do with me, a lot to do with the Fairtrade Foundation and the fact that it's more actively promoted. Yeah, I think more people know. I mean, I wouldn't like to say when the Fairtrade, you most probably know when it started, when the Fairtrade Foundation actually started, but I think over time more and more people know about it now, definitely. I think because it's a British organisation that founded it, I think obviously it's more knowledgeable out in Britain, but it surprises me that how many other countries are involved in fair trade. Japan's a good example of the fact that when we first talked about students and products in Japan, I would have said, well, no, it's an English thing and no other country does it, so I'm surprised about that. I definitely think there's a generation thing there as well, that when fair trade started getting real prominence in universities, I think it was very much seen as it was for older generations were involved in fair trade, and it tended to be an elderly generation or an elderly population that seemed very passionate about fair trade. Whereas now I feel that there's most probably a gap of more mature people knowing about fair trade, but I definitely think university students and student age is more aware now and more committed to fair trade. Whereas my generation, so mid-30s, mid-40s, never really, we're in the middle of that, never really got involved in fair trade. So prior to working here, I did a little bit of work fair trade in other businesses, but it was never as prominent as it is now. And I think that's based on students wanting to know about it and wanting those products. So I definitely think it's more popular now. I think younger people buy into it more, but I think that's not just fair trade, recycling and the environment and all that sort of stuff. I think when I was at university, we didn't really think about, that was the norm to throw stuff away and not recycle and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't really drilled into us as youngsters. Whereas now, I think especially in Britain, you taught that at school. So my little lad's at nursery and he's taught about recycling and fair trade and all that sort of stuff. My generation wasn't taught that at school, just, it wasn't it.